American Psycho was released in 2000 and was directed by Mary Harron and stars Batman, Christian Bale. So it's the villain protagonist of the film is this guy, Patrick Bateman. He's like a Wall Street yuppie bro kind of in the 80s. And he is kind of kills people for fun is the premise of the movie. And it starts out, he's out to dinner with all of his fancy friends in some posh place in New York City that is definitely super expensive. And the way he's talking to his friends, like they're all listening so intently. He's talking about like ending apartheid and saving the environment and stuff like that. And, it makes him sound like a politician, but like almost a liberal one, and everyone's just staring so intently at him as though they're hypnotized. And when he's walking home, he sees a homeless man and he's like, I want to help you. Wait, do I remember this? Yeah. He's like, I want to help you. Here's some money or something. And then he's like, wait, no, I don't have anything in common with you. And then he stabs the homeless man and then he kills the homeless man's dog. And it's horrifying. This is the introduction to the character. But this movie is a horror movie, but it's directed by a woman. This happens very rarely. Only 10% of Hollywood movies are directed by women still. And Mary Harron totally took Bret Easton Ellis's book and adapted it as like a warning to women to look out for guys like this. If you really watch the movie, these beautiful, like clean lines, minimalism, all sorts of like Freudian and Jungian symbolism and imagery in the movie. And it has like long montages of Christian Bale just like working out and stuff. So it's kind of eye candy for women and gay men. So Patrick Bateman he works at this, what do you call it? Firm for stock traders or whatever in New York City. And he's got a secretary that's in love with him. And all of the bros who work there are super competitive, but they're all exactly alike. Like he goes to a board meeting where Jared Leto is one of the guys he hates who works his exact same job, and everybody confuses them for each other. And they all put down their business cards, which look exactly alike. And they're like, oh, this one is printed on bone with, some kind of fancy typeset and stuff. And they were all comparing business cards that look exactly alike. And everyone preferred Paul Allen, who's Jared Leto, Paul Allen's card, and like Patrick just like crumbles, like he drops the card and he's shaking and he just can't take it. Like these are what these MAGA maniacs, this is what happens. They crumble so easily over the stupidest shit. And this is exactly what this guy's like. So he decides that he's gonna kill Paul Allen basically because of the business card. And what he does is such like a seduction. Like it's so gay. He takes the guy out to dinner and like threatens the waiter who comes over, like, you want to hear the specials? He's like, not if you want to keep your spleen. And like, he has this dinner with Paul Allen, gets him really drunk, and then takes him back to his place. And he's like, he puts on Huey Lewis in the News, Hip to Be Square, and Patrick Bateman, the main character, and he's like dancing around. He puts on a raincoat, and he's telling him all about these facts about Huey Lewis and like stuff that he's read in magazines and reviews that he's just regurgitating. And Paul's just sitting there, like there's newspaper all over the floor. And he's like, what do you have, like a chow or something? And Patrick comes up to him with an axe and he says, hey, Paul. And he just like, it looks like he cuts his head off because you can't see, it's below the shot. But in the book, it says that Patrick chops him right between the mouth, basically. So he like chops his head in half, basically. But he's like, get a table in Dorsia now, you stupid bastard. He chops him to death, basically. And he has to dispose of his body. And then he goes to Paul Allen's apartment and he like leaves a message on his machine, like he went to London or something, and nobody can tell the difference that it's not him. And oh, and there's these hookers that he gets off the street. I think I'm mixing up what's happening here. He gets these hookers off the street and he like tells them like, oh, your name is Christy. And he, makes them do, there's like big gratuitous sex scenes and stuff in this movie. Again, eye candy for women and gay men. It's, is it softcore porn? A little bit. But like he goes to Paul Allen's apartment and pretends like he went out of town or something. And then there's this detective who comes to talk to him. And he's like, oh, have you seen Paul Allen? He's like, oh, yeah, we went to a musical called Oh, Africa, Brave Africa. It was a laugh riot. And the detective, you can't really tell if he knows that Patrick killed him or not. And it's like kind of creepy because it's freaking Patrick out because he knows that he might get caught. But like the detective's just like so nice to him because it's a white guy he's talking to. If the guy was black, it would be a totally different conversation. But Patrick has a fiance who's played by Reese Witherspoon, and he goes to like different parties and stuff for her, and it's a lot of montages of him like getting manicures, and you can see in his eyes like this woman is like has this like sharp tool and she's like doing his nails, and he looks at the tool and you can tell he's thinking about stabbing her with it. Like there's just so much like murderous energy coming from this guy. He takes the hookers to Paul Allen's apartment, and or one of them is like a friend of his or something, and he gives them drugs, and the hooker tries to run away and he chases her with a chainsaw. I think he was only wearing sneakers, but and she's like running down the stairs. It's actually a really cool shot. These like triangular stairwell basically, and she's running while he's like holding the chainsaw over her, like kind of aiming it for her until she gets to the bottom, and he drops it on her and she gets like a chainsaw through her back. Basically, it kind of cuts through almost the most grotesque parts, but again, everything, even the parts that are kind of gross and scary and stuff, are very elegant. Like this was so directed by a woman, and a very artistic woman too. Like she knows her like art history, and like the production value and stuff is just absolutely beautiful in this movie. So Patrick, he's like losing his mind. He thinks that the cops are following him or something, or they might be. I don't know. It's a hallucination or not. He goes to the ATM and it says, "Feed me cat." And he sees like a kitten and he tries to put the kitten in the ATM. And then there are like cops chasing him and he shoots at them. And then he runs up to his office and it's at night, and he calls his lawyer and leaves a voicemail saying like, I've killed all these people. And like, he was saying just like the horrible things that he's been doing, like Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. And he's laughing the whole time. He's so happy confessing. Like it is his click moment when everything about the character makes sense. He just wanted to tell somebody this. So he leaves a voicemail for his lawyer, and he thinks like, okay, that's it. This is it. I'm going to be done. But he sees his lawyer the next day and he's like, "Did you get my message?" And the lawyer's like, "Oh yeah, good joke," basically. And like the lawyer just doesn't believe him. And he says something like, "I've seen Paul Allen. He was in London." And it's like these people cannot tell the difference between each other. So he may have seen somebody else, or he may be lying. You don't know. Or maybe Patrick hallucinated the whole thing. You still don't know because he takes a lot of drugs too. But at the end of the movie, basically he gets away with everything, and this is just like so exemplary of the Reagan era. I highly recommend reading the book too. So if you have any suggestions for movies you'd like me to explain, please comment. Also consider leaving a tip on Venmo or Cash App, links in the bio, and like and subscribe for tarot readings and more scary movies. I will see you tomorrow.